When it comes to toxic elimination from the human body, the liver and kidney plays a vital role. Your health is your wealth and therefore needs to be kept in constant check. Dr. Soliman Clinic and Labs offers you the opportunity to find out about your liver and kidney today. With us, you will have a free liver scan and hepatitis B test by ELISA just at 5,000 francs CFA. Find out the state of your kidney. With us, we offer free kidney scan, and if your creatinine is above 1.5, we have the solution. In addition to that, we also offer free medical consultation and free body scan. We are located in 2 cities. In Boya, we are located at mile 18 Bomaka. In Douala, you can find us at Bonaberry, precisely at Entrée Pilote. You can also reach us through the telephone number 694-940172. Your health is at the right place with Dr. Soliman.
We have very interesting show today. Surprisingly, I received tons and tons of messages and phone calls regarding spiritual problems. I did not really expect, I see a lot of it in the clinic, but I didn't expect there is a lot of people suffering out there from spiritual problems. And the lack of knowledge regarding spiritual disorder or spiritual problems makes the problem so complicated, because what is spiritual cannot be treated medically. I repeat, what is spiritually cannot be treated medically. You cannot. Otherwise, you will be just repeating and repeating, changing medications, changing hospitals, changing doctors, and the problem would remain. Based on the requests and the demands from you guys out there, we will explore more in the most common conditions that you face out there and gets you confused because you do not know what the answer is. You go different places, you take different treatment, and the problem still persists. I will share some real cases with you, and through those cases, those are real patients, as you will see, real cases, real stories, and then we'll throw the advice and the recommendation. Maybe you can learn and you can take an advice, especially those who are listening to me but they live elsewhere outside of Cameroon. I get many of those. So I'm gonna start today's session with a real life event, real life story. I have a lady, a patient, young lady, about 41, 42, 38 years old, something like that. She was on treatment with me, drips, antibiotics. She goes home after the drip, and half an hour, 1 hour later, she calls me that she feels numbness on her upper limbs, lower limbs, and she cannot even talk. She feels very heavy talking. I said, come right away. Then I said to myself, could that be an allergic reaction to one of the medication? It's possible. So she comes back and I check the patient. There is no signs that this could be allergic reaction because her breathing is fine. There is no rashes, there is no itching. I was prepared with epinephrine on site to see if this is an anaphylactic reaction to the drugs, but it was not. Can I please, Mr. Johnson, play that first image with the lady on, with that lady on the bed, and with the investigation that yes, this one here. So she come in. I done everything possible. Could it be an allergic reaction? The answer was no. There is no clinical presentation of allergic reaction to any of the drugs. Number two, could that be an onset of stroke? It's possible. But a stroke to the whole body, less likely. The stroke comes left, right, upper limb, lower limb, but not the whole body at the same time, is less likely. Anyhow, I said, let me check the ECG, see what the ECG say. ECG meaning electrocardiogram. That tests the heart. So we put all the leads on the heart. We put the cardiac echo to see if there is anything wrong with the heart. The heart shows a little bit of ischemia, mild ischemia. Then the next step that comes to my head, let's check the calcium. Maybe the calcium dropped. So we take the calcium and I get an immediate result. The calcium is about 6. The calcium has dropped. So that could be a reaction to low calcium. You know, this is hypocalcemia induced spasm, generalized spasm. Could be, but that's what it shows. So at the time, we said the diagnosis is hypocalcemia. And it's because of the hypocalcemia means low calcium. The low calcium caused the spasm and the generalized spasm in the body. It makes a little bit of sense. But then, what makes the calcium drop that sudden? And what makes the heart show a little bit of ischemia? What induced the ischemia to the heart? And what induced the calcium to drop? What we have done is called medical investigation to analyze what is going on at that moment of the attack. Basically, we carried her to the bed. That's enough on the picture. We carried her to the bed. We carried her to the bed because she couldn't move. Her legs are heavy, her hands are heavy, she cannot talk, and the movement that she does with the teeth, you know, she's clenching the teeth like this. Then I did small prayers for her. I applied a little bit of oil on her body, oil that I use in case of spiritual cases, and she regained power. She could move her arm, she could move her upper limbs, and she started to talk small. We have to take care of the hypocalcemia, the low calcium, so we infused a little bit of calcium. We give her a little bit of diazepam to relax those muscles that have been tense. She couldn't even flex her knee. Her muscles and legs were stiff as if you're going into seizure. But this is not a true seizure, because true seizure do not present like this, but it looks like if she having a seizure. Her mouth, the teeth was clenched, she cannot talk. In about half an hour or so, everything start to be back to normal. She spent the night with me for monitoring. In the morning, she was like nothing had happened. Everything is okay. But then questions now is to be asked. What happened? What happened during that attack is just the medical explanation medically, which is the dropped calcium, the ischemia to the heart. Ischemia meaning lack of oxygen to the heart, which is as a result of the spasm, the generalized spasm that has happened to her body. But this is not medically induced. What had happened to this lady is an attack. In medicine, we like to call it panic attack, but I cannot explain the convulsions and the tremoring and the seizures and the numbness that she cannot feel the upper limbs, she cannot feel the lower limbs, she cannot talk. I cannot explain it. Medically, the calcium has dropped. But what made the calcium drop? That is the big question. What made the calcium to drop is the big question. So here we're going to talk about real spiritual attack that induce the drop of calcium and that induce the ischemia that we have seen on the ECG of the heart. The following day, she herself, she said, it's a spiritual. I feel it to my bones that that's a spiritual. But I want to eliminate all medical causes. I want to eliminate all medical causes. So her husband was around. So we asked me and my wife to do a session on the husband first. And I want to play that video, please, Mr. Johnson. That is the second video after this picture, if it's possible.
أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا. أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم وقدمنا إلى ما عملوا من عمل فجعلناه هباء منثورا فجعلناه هباء منثورا. ها؟ أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما 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 كوني بردا وسلاما. أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما. I'm itching also. I'm itching very much itching also. أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما قلنا يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما. Bring this to the أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان. أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله. أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم الله جميعا يأتي بكم. Okay, no, don't worry. Bring it and كده بعد. أعوذ بالله سميع العليم من الشيطان. أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله 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 جميعا يأتي بكم. أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم الله يأتي بكم. قبل أولياء الشيطان قبل أولياء الشيطان فقط أولياء الشيطان فقط قبل أولياء الشيطان فقط قبل أولياء الشيطان من حيث الشيطان كمان قبل أولياء الشيطان قبل أولياء الشيطان فقط أولياء الشيطان قبل أولياء الشيطان فقط 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 أولياء الشيطان من حيث الشيطان كمان.
Yeah, so that was a bit tough to see. Let me explain to you what you just have seen. What you just seen is the husband. We did a session to see what is going on. That was a woman, not his wife. And the woman have done everything possible, went from one witchcraft, from one magician to another magician to another magician, and the magic or the witchcraft was delivered during the process of sex. And the kind of magic, we call it the splash magic, that he gets it during sex with that woman. That's what we see. Husband confirmed, wife confirmed, they both know. I mean, the wife didn't know, obviously, but she has her doubts, but the husband confirmed that it is true. Now, what we did there, we didn't want to go for the small, evil spirits there or the small evil. We want to go for the big one, the one responsible for this. And this is what I called the big guy, responsible for doing this. So when he started to come, he started to splash his things. And that's when my wife started to feel itching all over the place. He knows he's going to come. He knows by the power of God, he knows he's coming. This is his end. And we don't negotiate with those kind of people. Not people, actually. It's not people. It's not human. It's those spirits, those evil devil that did this. So we caught him, and you see how aggressive he was, that he knocked my wife out. And you see the splashes. He attacking through all the stuff. And it feels real, as really itching. So he's splashing all the stuff. So at one moment, my wife can see, so she gets panic. So I said, no, don't be afraid. We'll get him quick, and we'll get rid of him quick. And that's exactly what we did. So any devil that is responsible for that with the power of God has been eliminated. So we cannot expect any further, reactivation or any further doing by the same guy, unless she goes to a different guy. That means that magician power has been taken away with the power of God. Not my power, not my wife's power. We just have the gift. I have the gift of controlling the situation, taking care of the scenario. She has the gift of seeing. Combined together, we do what you just have seen. So we seen a woman going to different magicians, seeking different help to harm those couple, separate them, take the man and kill the woman. We're going to tell you how, with the story, what is happening with the woman once we see that very next video. If we can play the next video, yes.
فقاتل أولياء الشيطان إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا فقاتل أولياء الشيطان فقاتل أولياء الشيطان فقاتل أولياء الشيطان فقاتل أولياء الشيطان وإذا مررت فواشفين 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين وإياك نستعين وإياك نستعين وإياك نستعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة وأنت الله الكريم أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم وكان حقا علينا نصر المؤمنين.
I didn't show you the actual catching, but it was a bit horrible. During this session with the wife, my wife manifested exactly the same way like the patient manifested. She cannot move her legs, she cannot move her arms, and her teeth start like this. The same way like the patient manifested. So again, we do not go for the small ones, because any magic has guards around it, evil guards, devil, small devil. We go for the big one, the one responsible for the action. And when we go for the big one, we reverse everything back to them, multiplied by 4. That is God's punishment, is not mine. This is what God has said in His Quran. ضعفين من العذاب, meaning double the punishment. You did something bad, something evil to somebody, then you get it back. Double. Now, what is the story? What we see with the wife? We see the same woman that wanted to take the man away, the same woman going to different magicians or witchcraft, or however you want to call it, evil stuff, dark people, dark forces that use those dark entities to attack her. And this, what happened to her during the event when she came to the clinic, was actually an attack. And we seen her grave already dug. And arms, many arms like octopus, calling for her to come to the grave. And that is what we have seen with the wife. We eliminate. She didn't have this again. Finished. Finished. So what I'm trying to say, the devil is invited by human, is a girl, human. Out of like how many millions men out there available, she's gonna choose the one that is married with kids. You know, I'm a Muslim. We believe in polygamy, but not to that extent that you want to take a man and kill the woman. So, I mean, this is very devilish. So, at the end of the day, whoever did this evil, devilish, spell is a human using those dark forces to deliver his devilish message and devilish harm to the woman and her husband. So, what is the message to take home now? What is the take home message here? When God let me rephrase. When those things happen, God provides us with warning signs. You see the warning signs in the dreams. It doesn't come out of the blue. There's warning signs. Warning signs, you see scary dreams. You see snakes, you see dogs, you see dead people. You see it in your dreams. Those are the warning signs that this is spiritually induced. The husband will see, and sometimes they have the power to block the dreams. You have the manifestation, but your dreams are blocked. I am talking, maybe coming out of a doctor, it might not sound very, how can a doctor say that? Because I've been subject to that in my own family, and I explained that on one of the shows. I explained that exactly in one of the shows. So I take the pleasure in eliminating them, because I have suffered and I see what it is. I didn't believe in spiritual attacks or witchcraft or anything 5 years ago. On TV, I said, no, this is all hallucination, delusion. There is nothing existent like that. Till I seen it with my own, to discover that I have a gift that God given me. And maybe that is why what happened to my daughter back then. To discover that I have the capacity and the gift from God to deal with them very efficiently with God's power.